right, today we're going to talk about the top 3 movies I'm most looking forward to in 2025, and then also because we can't do a video that's only positive. It wouldn't be right. It wouldn't feel right. And so we're also going to do the 3 movies I'm least looking forward to in 2025. So these are the 3 best movies of 2025 coming up, and the 3 worst. I can already declare that, even though I haven't seen them, I have already determined what the best and worst are going to be. We'll start with the positive. We'll put our best foot forward and keep things positive to start with. So we just got a trailer for the first one a few days ago. This will be released in May from A24. This is one of the movies I'm looking forward to, starring Tim Robbins and Paul Rudd. It's called Friendship. Here's the trailer.
Hello? Howdy. Howdy.
Honey, the new neighbor invited you over for a drink at 8 tonight. I said you'd go.
You don't know my schedule.
You sit there every night. Might be nice to have a pal, you know, a bud.
Hey guys, this is my neighbor Craig. He's the best.
I was spiraling. I mean, I see the way the guys look at her. I'm scared.
Sheila's lucky to have a dad like you.
Boy, you should know that I've got you on my mind, your secret admirer. I've been watching you at night. I think of you. I want to be your baby.
If your game is on, give me a call, boo. If your love is strong,
I can see the future. It's full of pals. I'm on the edge of life, and the view is gorgeous.
Look, we had a couple of really nice hangs, but I think it best that we go our separate ways. I don't wish to continue this friendship.
You all accepted me way too fast. You can't do that. You made me feel too free. People need rules.
You should be dead, you psycho! Who are you?
Give me a second chance. Get to know me.
Okay. So you're either the kind of person who thinks the line, "I see the future and it's full of pals," is hilarious, or you don't. you either think that's a funny line or you don't. And if you see the humor in just that line alone, or when he says, "You don't know my schedule," and the way that it was delivered, it's like you either get that humor or you don't. If you don't, then you probably are not going to like this movie. It's the most tonally confusing trailer I've ever seen, but in a good way. It straddles between funny and creepy, but just does it masterfully. It's not entirely clear whether you're supposed to think this is funny or be scared by it. I think it's a little bit of both. It appears to be the perfect vehicle for Tim Robbins, who I think is hilarious in the show, the sketch show I Think You Should Leave on Netflix. Looks like a very dark comedy, which is exactly my speed, and it subverts expectations in a way that I think is pretty fascinating. It reminds me of the Banshees of Inisherin, or however that's pronounced, which I thought was a great film, but it's like a darker, Americanized, Tim Robbins-ized version of that kind of movie, and I'll definitely see it. I will certainly see it. It might be me and like 5 other people, but we're going to watch that movie. Okay, this next one is not a title that I necessarily would be overly excited to check out, just based on like when I heard they were making this movie, I thought, well, I'll probably watch it, but I wasn't super excited about it. But the trailer is maybe one of the best trailers I've seen in a long time. So this is 28 years later. It's a sequel to 28 Days Later, and what was the other one? 28 Weeks Later, I think. And so this is the I guess, conclusion of the trilogy, although, of course, nothing ends, so I'm sure they'll keep making them. It's coming out this summer, and here's the trailer.
Auntie, what's going on? Jimmy, sit still, keep quiet, and do not move from this spot.
7, 6, 11, 5, 9 and 20 miles today, 4, 11, 17, 32 the day before. Boot, 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 moving up and down again. There's no discharge in the war. Don't look at what's in front of you. Boot, 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 moving up and down again. Men go mad with watching them. There's no discharge in the war. If your eyes drop, they will get the top of you. Boot, 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 moving up and down again. There's no discharge in the war. Cry, to think of something different. Oh, my God, keep me from going lunatic. Boom, moving up and down again. There's no discharge in the war. 7, 6, 11, 5.
So just a great trailer, and the utilizing that's the Rudyard Kipling poem "Boots" and a radio broadcast of that poem from, I don't know when that radio broadcast was, but they pulled the actual audio from it from many years ago. It's very inspired use of that poem. I mean, whoever thought of that is a creative genius. And I have a little experience making trailers. You know, I was heavily involved in creating both trailers for our films, What is a Woman and Am I Racist? And really developed a respect for the craft of making trailers. It's not easy. It is not easy to tell the story of the film, at least give people enough information about what it is so that they would want to see it, but not too much information, you know, and you got to do it all in 2 minutes. You also have to capture the tone and the feel of the film without explaining too much. And you have to leave enough mystery that people have to go see it to fully understand, but they know enough of it that they know it's something they're interested in seeing. Very hard to do that in 120 seconds or 180 seconds, which is why most trailers are just awful. You know, most trailers are bad. Most trailers are just a summary of the movie that shows you everything that happens. And this doesn't do that at all. It doesn't show you much of the movie at all, really. And you've only a kind of, all you know of the plot is basically what's in the title, which is that this is 28 years after the zombie apocalypse. But just with the way it's cut together and using the poem and the music, you just get a sense of the feel and tone of the film in a way that I think is very clever. And so I, you know, maybe the movie doesn't live up to the trailer. I don't know. I'm going to see it. Plus, I love a good zombie movie like any red-blooded American would. So I'm looking forward to that. My final anticipated movie has no trailer yet. And this one's going to be a curveball. This is going to be controversial, okay? But there is apparently a remake of the 1997 movie Anaconda, which in 1997 was starring Jennifer Lopez and Jon Voight. And this one's going to come out around Christmas, I think. And the new one will be starring Paul Rudd and Jack Black. And the old one, if you ever saw the one from 1997, is like a thriller action about a giant snake, obviously an anaconda, in the Amazon eating people, like a man-eating snake. And Jon Voight, who, if I remember correctly, is the villain in the movie. Spoiler alert, but he gets eaten at the end, and then the snake spits him out and then eats him again. So one of the great moments in cinematic history. It was a bad movie, like very bad movie, but wonderfully bad, so that it was also entertaining. And the remake is supposed to be a comedy, and I'll tell you why. So they're going for a different feel with the remake. I'll tell you why I'm looking forward to it. Because, well, first of all, it's a movie about a giant snake in the Amazon eating people. Like, who wouldn't want to see that? But also, more importantly, this to me is what remakes should be. Okay, this is the proper utilization of the remake. They are remaking a bad movie that had kind of a fun premise, but it was not executed well. And plus, it was 1997. The CGI was really bad. So, update the CGI, but also take the fun premise. Okay, you got a giant snake in the Amazon. People are lost in the Amazon, being hunted by a snake. That's a cool premise. Was not executed well. Jennifer Lopez is a terrible actress. And just take that and try it again. That's exactly what you should be doing with remakes. Don't remake the good movies. The good movies are good. You don't need to do them over. They've been done well. Find the movies that are bad, but the premise is good, and remake it. So I'm looking forward to that. Again, probably not that many people will be looking forward to that one, but I am anyway. Now that the gym memberships, the diets, the New Year plans have likely already faded away, there's still one plan worth keeping: growing closer to God. Meet Hallow, the world's #1 prayer app with over 10,000 guided prayers and meditations. Hallow makes spiritual growth simple and accessible right from your phone. Start your day with the groundbreaking Bible in a Year podcast featuring Father Mike Schmitz, who brings scripture to life in ways that you've never experienced. Join Jonathan Rumi from The Chosen for daily gospel reflections, accompanied by insights from biblical scholar Jeff Cavins. Short on time, we'll try the Daily Minute Prayer. Need help winding down? Explore their nightly sleep prayers. Whatever your schedule, Hallow fits into your life with customizable reminders, schedules, and a supportive community to keep you accountable. This year, put your relationship with God first. Let Hallow guide you on your spiritual journey, one prayer at a time. Go to hallow.com/Matt Walsh for 3 months free of Hallow today. Let's get to the part that everyone's really waiting for, where I complain about the bad stuff that I don't like. So here are my least anticipated movies, the movies that I absolutely will not see. And first we have another Jack Black vehicle. So both Jack Black and Paul Rudd appear on this list twice. I didn't plan it that way. It's just how it happens. This is the Minecraft movie.
Minecraft trailer, take 2.
I am Steve. As a child, I yearned for the mines, but something always got in the way.
Go on! Get out of here!
But the call of the mines was too strong. So one day, I started digging and digging until I found this. A wonderland where anything you can imagine is possible. As long as what you imagine can be built out of blocks. Atta boy!
Where are we?
Wait, who are you again?
Garrett the Garbage Man Garrison. Gamer of the Year 1989. Whatever.
That's coming out. I don't know when that's coming out. I think, what did it say? April? So who cares? It's just everything I hate about modern Hollywood. Utterly soulless, just totally soulless cash grab. A movie that exists just purely to cash in on an IP. Nobody really wanted to tell this story. You know, nobody saw the Minecraft game and thought to themselves, wow, there's a great story to tell here. Nobody thought that. Not one single person did. Instead, some suits in an office somewhere in Hollywood were sitting around and had projections on how much a movie based on this IP could make. And they went out and they found someone to write this movie and a bunch of actors with standards low enough to appear in it. And that's how this movie came about. There's just zero chance that a film with that starting point can be good. Okay, when the genesis of the film begins with some corporate guys looking at charts, it will be a crap movie. It can't be good. You know, you can't make real art that way. It just doesn't work that way. And so I hate this. I give it 0 stars. I don't need to see it. 0 stars is what it gets. Next, speaking of soulless tripe, this summer we will have another installment in the endless Jurassic Park, or I guess Jurassic World now, franchise. This one is called Jurassic World Rebirth.
He's your guy? We're the best at moving things and people in and out of places they shouldn't be.
We avoid government patrol, but there aren't that many anymore.
Why's that?
Okay, we've already seen enough of this, so we don't even need to play anymore. It's if you've seen any of these movies, it's just that again. It's just the same thing again. Once again, I hate everything about it. And I can state with absolute certainty that this movie will be trash, and I don't need to see it. And people will say, oh, how can you judge it without seeing it? How can you? I don't know. If I invited you over to my house to come eat cat poop out of the litter box, would you need to actually do it in order to make a judgment call? Okay, would you need to say, well, I can't knock it till I try it. It doesn't sound appealing, but who knows? Maybe it'll taste good. No, it is possible to know what a thing is before experiencing it. It is possible sometimes. If you have a vaguely human level intellect, you can project out with near certainty about certain things. And this is one of those things. So I can say this movie is just pure excrement without actually seeing it. And they keep making these damn Jurassic World things. This is the 90th one. Nobody has liked any of them since the first one. No one likes them. No one cares about them. The actors in the films care about them and like them least of all, which is readily apparent if you watch them. And yet they keep churning them out. They keep cashing in. Here's what made the original Jurassic Park a good film? Well, first of all, the special effects at the time were mind-blowing. These days, we are not impressed with that anymore. And also, somehow, the special effects now are worse than they were 30 years ago. That's maybe the most mind-boggling thing about these Jurassic Park special effects, Jurassic Park films, is that the special effects keep getting worse each time. So how does that happen? But even more so, Jurassic Park is a great film. And it was a tightly constructed, efficiently told story with a relatively small cast of characters that we as the audience felt like we knew and liked and cared about. And we were able to know and like and care about these characters because they were well written and performed, and also because the story was pretty small in scale and intimate. It was just a few people trapped on an island, right? And they had to get off the island. So it's a very simple objective. On an island, you got to get off of it because there are dinosaurs. And that was the plot. Very simple, small scale. But the stakes were high. And the reason the stakes were high is not because the fate of the world hung in the balance. It really didn't. It was because we cared about the characters. And the fate of the characters hung in the balance. That's how you raise stakes in a story, not by increasing the number of people who are in danger, not by, making it so now the whole world's in danger, but by making us care about the characters who are in the dangerous situation, which is why you actually get kind of diminishing returns. There's this inverse effect where often, and this is sequelitis, this is what they do with sequels, they just make it bigger and bigger and bigger, so that in the first movie, a few people on an island were threatened. And then the next movie that they made, it was like there's a dinosaur lost in a city. And now a whole city is threatened. And now you get to Jurassic World. I mean, it's a world. It's not Jurassic Park anymore. It's the whole world now is there's an apocalypse happening. And this is how lazy writers think that they can raise the stakes. But it doesn't. Just because more people are now in harm's way doesn't raise the stakes, because we care less about the characters because there's so many of them and they're poorly written and lazily performed. But there's so many of them now that it's like I can't connect with any one of them. So I don't care anymore. Like, sure, just have everybody in the Jurassic Park world die. What do I care? In the next movie, just have an asteroid hit and everybody dies. Like, I don't care at all. It makes no difference to me because nobody cares about these characters. We don't know them. And, but that requires actual, talent in writing the movies and directing them and performing them, which the people involved in these films don't have. Finally, my third least anticipated movie is the new Fantastic Four movie, which comes out in, I don't know when, but here's the trailer.
Welcome to the Baxter Building.
We make a point to do family dinner every week. Sunday at 7, on the dot, no matter what. We're all here.
T-5.
Before we went up the first time, you couldn't turn invisible. Ben wasn't a rock.
The best pilot in the world right here.
Yeah. Best looking, he means.
And Johnny never caught fire.
Ben has always been a rock. Johnny is Johnny.
Hi.
And I am right here. Whatever life throws at us, we'll face it together.
All right. Yeah. Okay. So the truth is that there's like 100 other movies I could have put here, but 90% of the movies coming out in 2025 are very unanticipated by me. But I'm putting Fantastic Four in this spot because, firstly, we just don't need any more superhero movies. You know, we just don't need any more of them. We have our full. That we've reached capacity. We're well past capacity. These stories have been told now a million times. It's always basically the same story. I don't care what you tell. I don't care what you say. Every superhero movie, it's basically just the same story. And not just the same story, but the same story beats. It's just the same damn thing. It's the same outline, you know, every time. And so we've seen it. But also, they've tried several times to make Fantastic Four movies, and it never works. And now they're trying it again, and this won't work either. And the reason, okay, is that the Fantastic Four, and I know I'm no superhero expert, but the Fantastic Four are just lame. They just are. Okay, Fantastic Four, they were prototype superheroes, right? They first appeared in comic books, I don't know when, but I assume in the 50s or early 60s. They were rough drafts. They were not finished products, and they're just lame. I mean, the one guy, right, isn't the one guy, who's the main guy? Isn't he stretchy? This thing is stretchy. The one guy's a stretchy guy. I mean, you can't make a movie about a guy who's stretchy and expect anyone to take it seriously. When would that power even be practically useful, especially in a world where the bad guys can just shoot your stretchy ass and all you've done is given them more of a target, right? And then the other guy's a rock and the other one lights on fire. I mean, these are superheroes that every 5-year-old invents independently without even knowing about Fantastic Four. So they're quaint and all that, but they're fun little relics of the 60s, but there just isn't enough here for an actual compelling story. And that's why these movies don't work, because the superheroes suck. They just suck. I don't know what to tell you. Like, okay, if you were about to be killed by a supervillain with a laser or whatever, and you called out for a superhero to help you, you would be extremely disappointed if the stretchy guy showed up, right? You would be saying, really? This stretchy? I can't get Spider-Man or like Iron Man? You sent this stretchy son of a bitch? What is he going to do? Is he going to stretch the guy to death? He's going to wrap himself around the guy? Like what? If the guy has a knife, just cut out the knife. You can cut this guy in half. So that's why the movies don't work, and I won't see them. And so there you go. Those are the movies that you should see, and the movies that you are forbidden from seeing by law on penalty of death. That's it.